what we found, the slug. Now this is a Phillips, so your IF cans are these little, hang on, these little mongrel ones here. This one here, there is the screw, but the slug's not moving. The top of him, I don't know whether that's broken or whether that is normally like that. It sort of looks like it's supposed to be like that, but the slug's jammed right down inside. Someone has screwed the guts out of this. It's come off the end of the screw. So I've got no idea. I've never done one of these. Normally you leave these alone. They don't get much trouble. But pushing a little screwdriver just into this slightly increased the performance. So the slug has gone down too far. We've got to get this apart somehow, get the slug out of here and put back on this. I don't have another chassis with the same IF cans. Not the point of the exercise anyway. The point is, let's fix this one. So yeah, underneath, that's what we've got. We've got to get him out from in there. Okay, so there's your four connections down there. You can probably see them. So that's the job now, to get this thing out. Now this may be helpful for anyone else out there that's got one of these and, well, yeah, these have screwed off or come loose or whatever's happened with it. There's a little spring clip that holds them in position. But yeah, the first thing is to unsolder the bottom. Write a few things down as to where everything goes, of course, and a couple of pictures, and get him out, see how we go. Okay, well, let's get into it. Well, there we go. I've taken the transformer off at the back, give us a bit more space here. There's a wire going over here to probably the grid of, what is it, a 6 and 8, I think. So we've got to take him off. This little wire, there's two wires here, one over the oscillator coil by the look of it. No, that's, yeah, I'm not sure because this is, I haven't got that circuit in front of me. There's, yeah, so there's those two wires there. There's two wires here, one to the resistor, another one, little yellow one that goes over here to the tag strip, and one here that goes to the 6A and 7. So we'll lift all these off, and then it's only a matter of dropping him out by the look of it. All these are wire wrapped, so it's probably better off that stuff like this, I cut the wire and take it out and replace it with another piece of wire when I'm putting it back in, rather than try and melt and get the wire out from where it is. And it's the same with these two. Okay, now they can stay together. And then these two, if I cut it fairly close, the solder will keep them together. Okay. And why doesn't that one want to come out? There we go. Those two. Okay. And this one. And it's a lot easier to pull the tags out of the wires. We'll replace that wire. A lot easier to do it once the can is out of here. Okay, now all those are off. Looks like now spring clip comes off. Now I need to mark this as far as the rear. This side of it faces the rear, so I'll just put a small R there for rear, and there we go. And he's out. There we go. There's our broken one. So this is going to be interesting as to just how this is going to work. We also have a loose one here. This poor little thing's had a bit of a hard time. But yeah, we'll suck the solder out of these and get the tags out so that it's easy to put back together. I've prized those indentations away from the actual base. It's still tight, very tight, probably held in position by the wax at the top. So I think the thing to do with this is to gently heat it. This one here is a little bit of a worry as well. I wish he sort of wasn't like that. Yeah, we'll use a bit of super glue when we're putting all this together to hold him. But yeah, I think a little bit of heat. Okay, we'll get the heat gun and use some very gentle heat on it. Okay, there we go. It's coming out nice and easy. And there we go. Cans off. This is what we're dealing with. Probably need to melt a fair bit of wax off this fellow to get things to move. I don't quite know how this is going to work. We'll melt some of the wax off so we can see what we're dealing with. Put a card here so we can keep the wax because we'll be melting it back onto here. Rightio guys, this is what we're dealing with. There's our coil. We've got this little former that he sits on. Now, somewhere in amongst this, I think, is... I don't know whether the screw itself goes in and out of this, or it appears to be glued onto something else inside this former. Obviously being a little metal plunger, maybe carbon, something like that. I'll put him under the microscope and we've got to work out what we're going to do with this. Righto. I've just pushed, that's the top of our fella, I've just pushed the slug through the former. And there's our slug. Okay, so this little screw has come out of the top of this slug. So he'll have to be put back on there somehow. Don't know. Once again, I have to put him under the microscope. But this is the job. Maybe, yeah, I don't know how it was attached. But without being able to move this slug up and down the transformer in the former, we can't tune the radio. Okay, so we'll have a look at how this is attached. Right, well, this is a difficult little job. I've got the former out, the transformer. There's our coil of wire. I could unsolder him, but I won't at the moment. Now, he's actually bent, and hence this is probably why it's snapped off. It's probably been held in there with wax, and over a period of time it's seized up type of thing. So someone's tried to alter it. The screw has come out of the top of this fella. Now he does go back in there, like so. Probably like that. Now what we've got to do, we can super glue this. That's not a problem. The problem is getting this to slide easily now that it's bent. Now I have put a drill through this, and all appears not too bad actually. The turn's not too bad. There we go, through to the other end. Now what I want to do is to keep this straight, being the drill bit, I want to heat this gently so that the plastic former is pliable and follows the shape of the drill. Let it all cool, and then that should be reasonably straight. Oh, well, that's the theory anyway. So I want to get something to shield the transformer. Actually, one wire has come off here, so that's no problem. It's come off this one here. Yeah. Well, here's the short one, goes to the outside. I may as well take the other one off, I guess. A little bit of a shield against the rest of it. That should work okay. And we'll in there, and we'll gently heat this fellow. Okay, that's probably enough heat. Let him cool. And when he cools, well, he should be as straight as what the drill is anyway. So I'll come back when he's cooled off. Okay, well, that's got him straight. Now it's a matter of getting this fellow to go into our former, which he does quite easily there, but then he jams up where there's the plastic shroud there, connects onto this fella. Yeah, we're going to have to work this out. Probably going to have to try and join this better, because this is a plastic sheath around the slug itself, and yeah, it seems to join up with this fella. But anyway, we'll try and join our slug to the screw now. That's the next thing to do. Hope you can see this. It's a little bit, just not real sure where the camera is focusing there, but yeah, that should be focusing okay. Now the core, the ferrite core, I've re-glued the screw, the brass screw, back into the top and into a little bit of the plastic on top of it. I don't know whether there was a little bit of a gap there, but not a lot on the original. So I don't think the brass is going to affect our slug. when he's working. And if I think you can see that. Yep. What we do is very gently, if we can, slide him into the top, and we can then screw this fella in. He's actually it's firmish, so we can screw this up and down on the coil former. So now it's time, put him all together. I want to put a new piece of insulation in here. This got damaged with the heat, so it's a matter of taking him off here. And yeah, the coil, well, that one is still attached here, which we'll do another wind on here. And this little fellow, this little fellow here goes to here. So we'll put our insulation on here first, just a small amount of very small heat shrink would suffice across here, so there's never any touching or anything like that. It's insulated. Okay, so we'll lift this fella off. To do this, I'm going to use solder wick on these to clean them up, and yeah, we'll go from there. So here we go. This is a lot easier than trying to do this while it's in the radio as well. I'll get the bulk of this off to start with. This is actually a capacitor. Looks like a ceramic one. It's been soldered in a position along there so that its value is tuned to the unit. Now I'm going to have to put this under a microscope to find out this wire here. I think you can wrap around this end. Just going to have to get a bit closer look. We've got him out. There was just a little hook on the end of the wire, and that gets our little terminal out. Bend him back into shape so he'll sit down in there nicely. Now, possibly the thing to do here would be a dab of super glue underneath so that this fella doesn't move. This fella here, straighten the little hook out at the end of it. Take off our insulation, like so. So now we just measure a little piece of heat shrink just to go along there. Okay, used a little bit of blue heat shrink because that's what I had. I'm not going to shrink it. I'm just going to use it as our insulator. Now, this fella, he sits in there like so. Now, what I want to do is just wind a couple of turns here that's come off. The little coil sits in his little recess. We'll just poke that other wire down inside there. Poke this wire across a little bit so we don't want him touching at this end. And this fellow will go to our terminal. Now, as you can see, there's our screw. Once we get him in place and verify that this is working correctly, we'll put some wax in here, melt some wax so it doesn't move. We will adjust this. We'll put him 455 onto one side from the RF generator, and we'll put the oscilloscope on the other side, and we'll try and tune this fella before we put him back in the radio. That way we'll also be well certain that the thing is going to work. Whereas there, 6 arm and our other coil, 12 arms. Okay, right, now what we got going here, signal going in 455 kilohertz into one of the first coil and monitoring the second coil. And we haven't started tuning yet, but let's have a look here. See if we can get any sort of output, and we're in phase there anyway. And there's our peak right there. Peaking there. And yeah, that's certainly our peak, just there. Right, we'll leave him there. The transformer's working fine. I want to super glue this little tag down because he keeps wanting to lift. That little fellow there. Yeah, our camera focus seems a bit ordinary this afternoon. Okay, so I'll put a little bit of super glue in underneath him there and push him down, and then we'll get some wax and fill up a little bit of this with some wax. Okay, well, we're nearly up to the moment of truth. There he is. I've melted some wax into him, into the coil. It's all nicely sealed up there. Our contacts are all fairly good. Our little tags. Super glued down the two centre ones, which just kept coming loose, so they'll be right. And now this is, he goes on the radio like so. Now once we get this done, we'll also smear some more wax in here and seal him up. So yeah. So now I guess it's a matter of pushing down the couple of little indents that kept him in place, because we certainly don't want him coming out, which can be done with just a screwdriver and just a touch. Okay, not too much there, and the same on this side. And yeah, he won't go anywhere. Righto, it's time to put him back in the radio and see how all this is going to go, eh? Got the can back in. Must be time to put our valves back in. Right, there's all the valves in. Didn't think you'd want to see me doing the boring job of putting those back in. Now, on the side of the speaker is ground. The other side on our terminal strip. Okay, this is with our external speaker. Right, I'll put him on dim bulb, just in case. Switch dim bulb on, and power, and he lit up. He's going back down nicely, almost dimmed out, almost totally dimmed out. 13 watts, and he's coming back up now. There he goes. Okay. And we have some sort of noise. Okay, well that's really good. So let's get our generator going on 455. I will at the moment, where will we go in? We'll just go into the aerial at 455, which I think will be good enough. And see what happens. Okay, full volume. Got the aerial on 455 generator. And let's take him up a little bit. Okay, so let's see, can we tune anything? We'll start with our dodgy first IF. And yes, now, okay, I better give you guys a picture here. There we go. There's our peak. And it's peaking nicely. Do this one. And just back our RF off a little bit there. Okay, we're back down to 800 microvolts, so fairly weak signal. The IF. And there's our peak. Try this one. And there's our peak. Now, we'll go to the next IF. Here we go. There's our peak. And our next IF slug on the second IF tranny. And that's our peak. Go back to our dodgy little fellow that we've repaired. And that's our peak there. Right, that's it for the IF. They're aligned and he's working. So what I'll do, when I'm finished up, I will melt some wax into the top of him so he doesn't move. Remelt these fellas so that they don't move either. Okay, let's go down to 600 kilohertz and set the bottom end of the scale via our oscillator. And yeah, we almost need to have to get him back in the case. So we'll do a rough estimate here and then we'll get him in the case. Now, there's 600 kilohertz. I'll give you a bit of signal. Okay. And we don't. And there he is. Now, pretty sure we can go back a bit on that fella. Just our oscillator coil is in here beside our tuning gang. Okay, that's good enough for a rough setup until we get the dial. And we'll go up here to 1500, working back up here. That's close. We'll peak our antenna trimmer. Okay. Go back down here to 600. And down this end, we'll peak our antenna coil, which is up here. Okay, we'll just watch the meter. It's peaked there. Okay, so that'll do for our initial tuning. It's rough, but the rest of it will have to be done when he's in the case and I've got the dial and we can line the dial up. There's no other way of doing it. Okay, so that's it for the radio. It is working. We'll probably be able to pick up a station. Let's see. We've got all sorts of interference in here. All sorts of interference. Let's see. There you go. One of my lights.
The feedback's obviously going to always create photos. Just seeing.
And if we go up here, we should get our local station.
Yeah. I'm sure it was very funny. What, 5 or 6 blokes getting together.
And there we go. And if we keep going up further, yep, they're all there. All the rubbish that I've got here. And we've got a few thunderstorms around at the moment, so it's even picking up now. There we go. Let's get the case cleaned up and get this thing back in it, and then we can do a proper job on realignment of the stations. Right, now a couple of the little clips on the back of these, well, this radio has broken away. You can probably see it there. And these slide up in a little groove either side. That's broken out. And the same with this one here. So the deal is now some JB Weld. This is what I use. It is fantastic. Yeah, there's just no substitute. So we're just going to put a little bit of this just around underneath it and just over it a little bit, just to hold it all in position. All these clips do is hold the back on, but this one here is nice and tight. It's not broken. And obviously these two have been jarred and broken away. I am just going to glue these back in place. JB is just a standard 2-part epoxy, and it just sticks everything to everything. It's great stuff. If you're looking for it in Australia, Super Cheap Auto is the place to go. They have lots of different styles of JB products. It's an American-based glue, and yeah, it just works well. Just put a dab down each side and some over the top there. Pushing down into it. Right, we've put the front back on. We've polished up some bits and pieces, and around the back I've glued these little brackets in that screw the back on with JB Weld. So now we've got to put the chassis in here. Now, before we put the chassis in, I think we have to put the dial pointer back on. Now, I've repainted the dial pointer, so he looks quite nice. So let's have a look at how this thing actually goes together. Let's sit him in here and see how we go about doing this. Do we get the dial string, the pointer on the string in here? We can't see the string. Am I missing something here? The pointer has to go, it has to go on the cord before the radio goes in. Or do we get in here? We probably get in the back here, and here's the dial string here. So I'll just get that cap up out of the road there. So yes, there's our string. Whether or not it's the top or the bottom string, I'm not sure, but this must be done from the back. Okay, we're going to have to put this assembly together before the actual chassis goes in. Okay, I don't have instructions on this, and well, we took it all apart to get it out because it was very difficult to get it out. First things first here, let's get something to sit this on. Now, first of all, I think we'll put the Phillips logo back in place. Got a little bit of super glue in place there. It should sit in there nicely. With the actual pointer, I think we can put that in from the front once we get the chassis in, and then we can wrap it around the dial cord. Okay, next, speaker. And there we go. Okay, let's get the chassis in. Okay, now before we go any further, got the chassis back in, everything's wired up as you saw. I think we better turn it on and see if we've still got noise coming out of this baby, and with the wiring of the speaker and everything else. Okay, he's on dim bulb, and on. And we do have a dial light down the bottom here, which is good. There he is. So let's see. I'll turn one light off because there's one light here that interferes terribly. This little baby takes a while to warm up, but that sounds normal. Well, let's put this in, see how we go here. Geez, I hate dial cords, and well, as we all hate them. Dial cords and pointers, they're shocking things. Okay, well, let's try and get this in here. We've sort of got to go in upside down and twist him around. And I don't know whether it's going to be that easy. It's coming through here to there. And it's got to go to, to the top one. Okay. We've actually got it in. Now, I've got to somehow wrap the cord. I've got to wrap the cord around. This is ridiculous. And then slide him into place. Right, I'm back, and actually it wasn't too bad. So there he is in there, and you can see how the cord is just wrapped around. I'll put a little bit of nail polish or something like that to hold him in place. And now I'm guessing, let's give you a better picture there, right to the end there, which is just right at the end. And he comes along this way, and it's right at the end there. Could come, no, he can't come back this way any further because the little felt pad is just touching the side. So, and it's pretty well the same that side. May have to squeeze him up a little bit to get the pointer to, to sit properly. That looks good. Brilliant. Okay, let's get a bit of some sort of glue. I use my wife's nail polish. She doesn't mind. Then again, she doesn't know. So I'll put a dab on that. And then our dial cord our dial pointer is correct. Then it's a matter of aligning this baby. So pretty easy to do once the dial is in there, but not so easy in the top here. Only got to get at the oscillator, antenna, trimmer, so forth. We've done the IF, which is done earlier. So, yeah, we've got to get in here. I have a short screwdriver, so it's only a matter of the oscillator coil down there, the antenna coil, which is, well, yeah, a little bit harder. He's back behind the 6A and 7, but we'll get to him. We'll do it somehow. Next job, let's put the dial on. There we go. Now it's just about to put him on. Look at these screws. We've got to polish these up. Okay, we'll be back. Well, she's sitting here going nicely. Now, the alignment, which is pretty close. I've done just a preliminary alignment there, and boy, this thing is almost spot on. Now, it says for the top end, it says uses a 100 puff cap. I've just gone straight into the aerial at the moment. And it says for the RF alignment, trimming the adjustments. Let's show you there. Okay, so trimming adjustments are the oscillator at 1420, which is 3XY here in Australia, front of tuning capacitor, and the aerial trimmer 1420 at the rear. So Yeah, and then we'll pad 7ZL at 600 kilohertz at the other end. So let's try that. 1420, which I have the generator set on at the moment. Okay, we are on, dead on. 3XY, you can see him there. So, turn him up, and we've got to go and adjust the front capacitor up in here, which is our oscillator trimmer for the top end. So let's adjust him. I'll just find a screwdriver, something that'll fit in there. Right, we have a fairly small screwdriver, and we'll adjust the front oscillator trimmer and see if we can bring in our generator. Boy, this requires a torch. There we go. Okay, so can we bring him in? Can't get the screwdriver on him. There he is. And there he is. Okay, I'll just get rid of that awful noise. I will put the meter on this because we'll adjust now the antenna trimmer. Now I'll just jump the speaker at the moment with our other bench speaker, and can we? Yes, we can get just a moment. I'll position my camera. There we are, and I'll put up with a bit of noise here for a little bit. I'll take him up. As you can see, he's moved a little bit. Now, we've got to do our antenna trimmer on the top end, which is the fella here, the rear trimmer on the cap for peak. There we go. It's a little bit less signal. There we go. Right, that's got the top end done. Now, what it also says, I'll leave my meter there, is go to the bottom end, was 7ZL at 600 kilohertz, and adjust the oscillator coil until we pull in 600 kilohertz. Okay, I'll set the Jenny up for 600, and there he is there. I'll increase the level a little bit, and now we've got to put the radio on 7ZL. So we're looking at 7, and ZL is up the top there. This is a very unusual way of telling you to do this, but it's just off a little bit, just a smidgen. So what have we done? We've lost our ground. Lost our ground on the SIG-Gen. Okay. So now we're going to adjust our oscillator, which is way in here. I'll bring this a little bit closer on this one. Yeah, I think there's a little bit of light in there. It is that fella up the front there. Just there you can see an orange little screw in there. So we'll adjust him for maximum signal on our meter. Okay, Now this is going to be painful for a minute. I'll back him off a little bit. And now let's adjust him. Bit of a trick to get in these, but we're getting him done. There he is. Okay. Now, at this end, we've got an adjustment behind our 6AN7 in here. So we've got to peak that signal on our aerial coil. We've done the oscillator, now peaking the aerial coil on 600 kilohertz. Okay, so you may or may not be able to see that fella. Right, where's a pointer? Right there. That's him. That long screw there. So that's our aerial coil. So let's put up with some more noise again and peak the meter. And it looks like he's pretty well peaked out. And I'll tell you what, that 6M5 is very warm. Oh, gee. There we go. That's a little bit of a trick. My screwdriver's a little bit too short. And I'm right at the peak. Right there. Okay. That's it. We've done the bottom end. We've done the top end. That's it. Take our Jenny off and kill that noise, that horrible, horrible noise that we all have to put up with. Sorry about the camera movement there. We all have to put up with from time to time. So, guys, you know what this means? Let's go back to our main picture there. And what this means is this little unit is working very nicely. Okay, all is done. It's certainly got some gain. We've fixed our IF. We've recapped, realigned. Everything is honky dory. Let's get the back on it and have a real look at what she looks like when it's all put together.
System and a very market-driven system. So the caps swallow work fellas. Well done. You're exactly right. Them black fellas, they got to sit there, you know, and wait. You know, people have got their bit as well. You don't know who you got now, you don't dig him till the better one comes along. Better go.
Well, guys, there she is. a little Philips 166, all put back together, working like a dream. Love it. I love this radio. Didn't realise that there was so much involved with the IF transformer to start with. Didn't know whether we were going to get that one going or not. One of those things. I hope it helps some of you guys out there and shows you what's inside these little Philips transformers. They're pretty small to work on. But anyway, what we did worked 100%. The IF aligned up on 455, no problems at all. The other alignment, our RF alignment on low and high band worked perfectly. Very easy. Not even a dial cord with this one. A little bit of a trick getting that needle in there, but worked that out. So very happy with it. I hope you guys enjoyed what we did here, and if you did, give us a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe. It helps me lots, and click on the bell so that it'll inform you when my next video goes up. Okay, from Australia down under. Okay then, until next time guys, take care and bye for now.